Today we are making 21 bold NHL predictions for the 2021 NHL season, and that's coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, today we're going to make some predictions for the upcoming 2021 NHL season. I'm calling this my 21 bold predictions. You might find some to be a little bit more bold than others. Some might not be overly bold. I guess that's up to you to make your opinion. We have made some predictions earlier before the season started, mostly around player point totals and that kind of stuff. I had some special guests join me, but today we're going to have basically a little bit of everything in here. We're going to talk about some standings, how some players are going to do, some trades, free agency, all kinds of things that we think are going to happen. This is not just for the 2021 NHL season, but more so for the 2021 NHL calendar. So I'm going to encompass the off-season that's going to start once the season's done as well, including a little bit of free agency and the draft and that kind of stuff as well. So here we go with number one. Patrik Laine will have a tremendous season, eclipsing the 40-goal total. And, of course, that's even more impressive considering the shortened NHL schedule. We saw in the game opener against the Calgary Flames last night, Laine was a man on a mission. He had 2 goals, including the overtime winner. Even got physical a little bit, was starting to play a little bit more of a complete game. Even though he requested a trade out of Winnipeg, I do think that's going to motivate him even more. Plus the fact that he's going to need a new contract soon. And we're going to see a very, very dominant Patrik Laine have the absolute best season of his career. And I am going to predict he's going to score 40 goals or more in this shortened NHL season. Bold prediction number 2. Alexander Ovechkin, captain of the Washington Capitals, will sign a mega contract extension, making him one of the league's highest paid players, right up there with Connor McDavid. I believe it's going to be around a 5-year extension, and the first couple of digits is going to start with a 1. The second digit will be a 2. I'm going to say it's at least $12 million per season, maybe even a little bit more. Hard to say exactly, but he'll be right up there with a guy named McDavid when it comes to the highest paid players. I'm not sure exactly when that contract extension will be complete, but it will be done before the end of the NHL season. Bold prediction number 3. The Ottawa Senators will not be Canada's worst team and will not finish last in the North Division this season. Of course, we know that they're in a very tough Canadian division. They've made tons of improvements, but you know what? A lot of the other Canadian teams are already pretty good or have made improvements as well. But I think they're going to surprise some people. I'm not predicting them that they're going to make a big splash and be like at first place or make the playoffs or anything too bold or too crazy. But I'm just going to say for right now that they will surprise the other teams in there enough that they will not be last. Bold prediction number 4. Nolan Patrick has a complete and full healthy season and on his way will win the Masterton Trophy. Obviously, he sat out all of last year with a migraine issue. The young forward who was originally drafted 2nd overall a few years back has had his fair share of injury and illness-related time to miss NHL games. And this is going to come to an end this year. And I know he's played the first game, looked pretty good, but I do have confidence he's going to be a full healthy season and go on to be the Master Trophy for dedication to hockey. Bold prediction number 5. The Detroit Red Wings will once again be the NHL's worst team, except this year they're going to have a different fate in the draft lottery. The Detroit Red Wings will win the lottery and get to claim the first overall selection in the 2021 NHL draft, and they probably won't have to look too far for where they're going to make their selection with certain defenseman at the University of Michigan who's looking like the potential number 1 pick right now, who would look quite nicely on that Red Wings blue line. Bold prediction number 6. The Seattle Kraken will hire Gerard Gallant as their first ever head coach in franchise history. Of course, we saw what he did with the Vegas Golden Knights. He's been a coaching free agent for some time. There are some other decent names out there right now, and I do think we will see some more names become available later on. I don't think the Kraken are going to want to wait too long, though. So before this season's done, I'm going to say in the next couple of months, we do see the Kraken announce a head coach, and Gerard Gallant is going to be their man. Bold prediction number 7, sticking with coaches. No NHL head coaches will be fired during the NHL season. I think a lot of that's going to do with the fact that it's a shortened year. So I think owners and GMs are going to be a little bit more patient with their coaching staffs. We also have COVID to deal with, so bringing in a new guy would be challenging with different quarantining and isolation issues. I think we're going to get through the season with no coaching casualties. But of course, once the season's over, it's all fair game, whole different story, and we'll probably see our usual 5, 6, 7 coaches end up losing their jobs once the offseason's in full swing. Bold prediction number 8. Patrick Marlow plays enough games to eclipse the all-time record held by Gordie Howe, and then goes on to finish the season in San Jose, and then he will announce his retirement. I think that's the main kind of force driving Patrick Marlow right now. I think he understood signing with San Jose that, this is not really a cup contending team. So I think at this point he's going for the games played record, and I think that will be the end of his career once he eclipses that. Bold prediction number 9. We will see a trade involving Columbus center Piere Luc Dubois. That whole scenario in hoopla in Columbus will come to an end, and the team I feel he's most likely going to is the Montreal Canadiens. I think GM Marc Bergevin is not done making a splash. He made several offseason moves to make his team better, and I think this is going to be the icing on the cake to really solidify the Habs down the middle here for a long, long time. Bold prediction number 10. After securing this trade, Marc Bergevin, along with the other moves that he made during the offseason, will go on to be named the General Manager of the Year, seeing the most improvement amongst NHL teams. The Habs are going to be right up there, first or second place amongst the Canadian division, battling with some of the top teams in Canada. I think they can hang with anybody on any given night. They lost their first game to the Leafs in overtime, but I really felt overall Montreal did have the better team game. The Leafs were very opportunistic with their offense in the right times, but I do think that game could have went either way. And we're going to see Montreal win way more games than they lose this year, be a force in the Canadian division, and Bergevin will be recognized at season's end. Bold prediction number 11. Patrick Laine will not be the only player to hit 40 goals. He's also going to be joined by Maple Leaf star forward Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews, of course, is going to really be up there with Laine. Probably in a 1-2 race is going to be my opinion for the Rocket Richard Trophy. And we're going to once again bring up that old debate on Matthews and Laine, on who's better. And I know really for the most part, I think the Leaf fans would agree Matthews has been the better player overall and has had more individual success here so far. But ever since those two were drafted 1-2, they're bound to be connected together, and that storyline is going to be brought back to life this season. A few teams that many people feel will make the playoffs, I'm going to disagree with. I'm going to make the bold prediction that teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins, Columbus Blue Jackets, and yes, even the Vancouver Canucks are going to fall short of the playoffs. I think all three of those teams are going to take some steps back before they can move forward, especially in the case of Vancouver. If they were in their normal division, I would say that would be less likely, but given the fact that they're in the tough Canadian division instead of getting to play all those California teams that they could beat up on or rack up the points to, they're going to have really no easy nights at all, and losing a guy like Jacob Markstrom between the pipes is going to be a big blow. Of course, they're without JT Miller to start the season, and I think the Canucks are going to be a good team, still a fun team, an exciting team. I just think that division is going to be so tight that even the fifth place team that misses the playoffs is going to be just by a tiny bit, maybe even only a point. And unfortunately, I think Vancouver is going to be on the wrong side of that line this season. Your top free agents at season's end will be Taylor Hall, Mike Hoffman, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I do not see a scenario where any of these players sign extensions with their existing clubs before the season is over. I think out of the three, Nugent-Hopkins is the most likely to stay in Edmonton, but they are going to have a tough time making it work from a salary cap perspective, and GM Ken Holland is going to have to get creative here with how he's going to do that. He's probably going to have to decide between Nuge and Tyson Barrie. I think Tyson Barrie is going to have a really good season, be looking for an increase in pay, and I think keeping both of them might not be possible. He's going to have to choose and choose wisely. I know they would like to sign Nugent-Hopkins to a long-term deal, and I think the player feels the same way. Just a matter of getting the numbers right so that it works for everyone, and that's going to be a challenge. I'm not saying for sure that he will leave Edmonton, but I do think it's going to drag on at least till the beginning of the offseason and come right down to the wire. But I will say this, I'm not going to say it with absolute certainty, but I do think there's a real possibility that all three of these players, Hall and Hoffman included, that they will all wear a different uniform next year. Of course, we're in completely different divisions this year. My 4 division winner picks are as follows. I have the Toronto Maple Leafs finishing first in the North or Canadian division. I've got the Vegas Golden Knights finishing first in the West. I've got the New York Islanders finishing first in the East. And the Tampa Bay Lightning finishing first in the Central. We will see a significant trade out of the Winnipeg Jets organization this season, but it's not going to be Patrik Laine. They will make a big trade involving young forward Jack Roslovic. He will get moved, eventually signed, and possibly play for another team depending on how quickly that comes together. Of course, there is cutoffs for obviously when he can sign and play this year, but I do see Laine sticking out the entire season with Winnipeg, and I do think there's a decent chance that they could mend fences. I think more so than the Dubois situation I referenced earlier. There is a possibility there, but I do see a situation where Winnipeg does make a significant trade, likely getting a pretty good defenseman in return for Roslovic and maybe another piece involved as well. We're going to see a lot of top rookie talent in 2021. My predictions for the top 3 who will be the finalists for the Calder Trophy include the following players. We're going to go with 2020 third overall pick Tim Stutzle from the Ottawa Senators, Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild. We saw him have a terrific debut last night against the Los Angeles Kings. And we're also going to go with Alexander Romanov of the Montreal Canadiens. He will be the rookie defenseman who logs the most minutes, likely puts up the most points, and really is going to play a pretty significant role, maybe even a bigger role than a lot of the forwards he's going to be up against here. Not sure exactly who it's going to win, but those 3 are my prediction for the finalists. I do think Alexis Lafreniere of the Rangers will have a really good rookie season as well, but be just a little bit short of falling into Calder consideration. Bold prediction number 17. The Seattle Kraken at the expansion draft will have a pretty big name and longtime veteran be their face of the franchise. Of course, we saw the Vegas Golden Knights do that with Marc-Andre Fleury. The guy to do that for the Seattle Kraken will be Brent Burns of the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks will make him available, and they will take him, even though he has a pretty big contract and he's getting up there in years. He's still a big name with a big personality who can help sell tickets. Not that they really need to help, by the way, but sell merchandise. And Burns will be the primary big name face of that team, along with lots of other talented guys around him to start when they kick off their first NHL season. Bold prediction number 18. PK Subban of the New Jersey Devils will be one of the league's top bounce back players of the year. He played an incredible amount of minutes in New Jersey's opening game this season, and I think he's primed himself for a big return. He knows he's got to be better. Last year was the worst year of his career. It can only go up from here, but I do think PK Subban is going to be maybe not to where he was when he was winning the Norris Trophy back a number of years ago, but I think we're going to see a lot more speed, offense, and just better overall smarter play from PK Subban, who's going to be a force for the Devils. Bold prediction number 19. The Calgary Flames at season's end will make a big splash by breaking up their core, and we will see at least one of Johnny Gaudreau or Sean Monahan finally be traded, and they're going to move on to a different core. We're going to see this team basically belong to Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm, and potentially whatever kind of package it brings back from one of these players being traded. I would not rule out the possibility of both players being moved, but at least one of them will be traded. I can't say for certainty that the Flames are going to make the playoffs. I'm not as high on Calgary as some of the other people I've seen making predictions, and I'm not completely sure that they're going to be able to have a deep playoff run. Without that, this prediction is very likely to come true, in my opinion. Bold prediction number 20. Only one more to go. We're going to see some other surprise rookies that are going to have solid NHL seasons. Maybe not put up the points that the guys I talked about that are going to be in the finalists conversation, but players that you might not suspect will be making such a huge impact with their NHL teams. Those players include Höglander in Vancouver. You got Josh Norris in Ottawa, who could very well be one of their top scorers. He's bound to be a top 6 center for the bulk of the season, which is going to have a huge impact. Playing with guys like Tkachuk and Stutzle and others in Batherson will have a big impact on his totals. So I think Josh Norris could be a surprise kind of stealth candidate this year. And we're also going to say Dylan Cousins in the Buffalo Sabres is another one. He's another guy to look out for coming off an absolute torrid World Junior camper. He was a dominant player for Team Canada. He looks primed and ready to make an impact at the NHL level. Bold prediction number 21. Your 2021 NHL Stanley Cup champions will be your last expansion team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, the Seattle Kraken, the NHL's newest expansion team, starts the season next year. And this year, the Golden Knights will finally get it done. Captain Mark Stone will lift the Stanley Cup and be named the Conn Smythe Trophy winner of the 2021 NHL playoffs. So those are my 21 bold predictions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your bold predictions are for the 2021 NHL season. This is just for fun, of course. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. Again, keep in mind, this is only for fun. If I didn't pick your team to win, please don't be upset. That's not my intention here, is to upset anybody. Just leave your fun predictions down below. We can look back at this at season's end and see which of us were right. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you next time.